Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Srivasati.
Hare Krishna. Welcome back to our Bhagavad-gita channel, Bhagavad-gita. Here it is. And as usual, I am Labangalatika Dasi, and I'm reading from Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavad-gita as it is, translation and purport by His Divine Grace. And today we are still in chapter 2, which is the fundamental chapter, so to speak, where we establish the basis for the whole philosophy of the Bhagavad-gita. And we have come to text 41. I will read the Sanskrit. Vyavasayatmika buddhir ekeha kurunandana bahusakha yanantascha buddhayo vyavasayinam. And a translation as follows. Those who are on this path are resolute in purpose, and their aim is one. O beloved child of the Kurus, the intelligence of those who are irresolute is many-branched. Purport. A strong faith that by Krishna consciousness one will be elevated to the highest perfection of life is called Vyavasayatmika intelligence. The Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya 2262 states, Sharadha Shabde Vishvash Kahe Shudridha Nishchoy Krishna Bhakti Koile Sarva Karma Krita Hoy. Faith means unflinching trust in something sublime. When one is engaged in the duties of Krishna consciousness, he need not act in relationship to the material world with obligations to family, tradition, humanity or nationality. Yes. So, again, one can misunderstand this, one can willfully misunderstand this to mean that practicing spiritual life means that one does not care, that one becomes a little robotic in life and gives up everything. That is, of course, not the point here, and it's not the aim for this verse. The aim is to understand what is reality. If you take to spiritual life, if you take to Krishna consciousness, you will expand your horizon of your understanding. Of course, if you have a family, you will still care about them. But the point here is that if you have a too strong attachment, it might draw you in the wrong direction. Like we were hearing about Dhritarashtra, who is the father of Arjuna's cousins who are fighting him for the right to rule the land. And Dhritarashtra, due to his, his misplaced affection and attachment to his family, he's unable to put his foot down. He's actually able to see what is right and wrong. He's able to see that what his sons are doing, this is wrong, but he's unable to stop it. He's unable to stay firm. And in this way, he's not doing them any favors. Because in this world, as we will hear more and more about further on here, our actions, our conduct, our character creates our existence in the here and now, but also for the future. So if you love your family, I have to admit that I love my children very, very much. But if because of that, anybody who has children knows the children will often come in and say, oh, can I do this, can I do that? All my friends are doing this, all my friends are doing that. And traditionally the answer is, if all your friends get on a bridge and they want to jump, do you also want to jump? You don't want to jump from a bridge. And the Bhagavad-gita gives us even more knowledge. Of course, cause and effect. If you get on a bridge and you jump down, you will most likely hurt yourself. And this is easy to understand. But other things, other activities in this world, it's not so easy to understand. And the Bhagavad-gita doesn't go into the detail. I had these questions when I came in contact with Krishna consciousness. What kind of karma do you have? What have you done previously to be born as a wasp or as a bird or as a flower? And it's very complicated. We cannot say exactly this and that one activity. No, it's added up lifetime after lifetime. But to have a certain understanding of Dharma, to have a certain understanding of right and wrong, in a material sense, but even more so in a spiritual sense, means that if your children wants to kill their cousin to take the throne, you will not agree with that. You can still love them, but you have to understand what is good and what is bad, and even more than that, you have to understand what is spiritual, what is eternal, what is Krishna consciousness. Fruitive activities are the engagement of one's reactions from past good or bad deeds. When one is awake in Krishna consciousness, he need no longer endeavor for good results in his activities. When one is situated in Krishna consciousness, all activities are on the absolute plane, for they are no longer subject to dualities like good and bad. The highest perfection of Krishna consciousness is renunciation of the material conception of life. This state is automatically achieved by progressive Krishna consciousness. So we have to keep our perspective here. We are not saying that if one adopts a certain religion, anything they do is good. No, we have to learn how this works. But in the ultimate sense, if we do not adopt spiritual life, if we do not gain a realization of our spiritual nature and understand what it means to act from that platform of the spirit soul, we may do good activities, we may gain good karma, we may fulfill all our duties and be very respectable and actually very happy in that situation, and then we die and we don't know where we go, because the laws of karma, they are very, very subtle. Also bad activities, they may lead us to some suffering in the material world. That is not the worst thing that can happen, because sometimes suffering in the material world teaches us something, gives us some perspective, gives us some understanding. And in this verse, you have already come to that place. Vyavasayatmika, resolute in purpose, in the opposite of those who are irresolute and just go here and there as the wind blows, so to speak. So this state is automatically achieved by progressive Krishna consciousness. It's not automatically achieved just because we say so. That happens. Apparently it happens quite a lot. Somebody takes on the position as a spiritual leader, and then they say, whatever I say goes. And that's not true. It has to be in accordance with the scriptures, in accordance with Krishna's instruction. But then, actually, if we can gain that spiritual realization and elevation in our life and our activities, in our consciousness, then we don't have to separately strive for achieving renunciation. That will come automatically. It will not come automatically by sitting down and saying, oh yes, now I am fully realized, and therefore everything I do is good. No, but if we focus on our actual self-interest, self-realization of the soul, realization of the soul in connection to Krishna, then the other things will follow automatically. The resolute purpose of a person in Krishna consciousness is based on knowledge. Vasudeva sarvamiti samahatma sudurlabha. A person in Krishna consciousness is the rare good soul who knows perfectly that Vasudeva, or Krishna, is the root of all manifest causes. As by watering the root of a tree, one automatically distributes water to the leaves and branches, so by acting in Krishna consciousness one can render the highest service to everyone, namely self, family, society, country, humanity, etc. If Krishna is satisfied by one's action, then everyone will be satisfied. So this sounds a little simplistic, watering the root of a tree. But right now our vision is, limited by our senses, by our background, by our present conditioning in the material world. a Krishna conscious person can actually see how Krishna is the root cause of all causes and everything connects to him. And we may not be able to see it, but we can understand it. Everything has a cause. Cause and effect is a prominent part of existence, but it's not always so easy to understand. You know, they do this kind of, what you call it, scientific research. They check things out, they check so many parameters, and they can see, yes, these two things tend to happen together a lot. We cannot absolutely prove if one thing causes the other or the other way around. But we can understand, both from the scriptures and both from some sort of logic, if there is such a thing as God, and that God may have the beautiful name of Krishna, then that is the definition, the cause of all causes. Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchitananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. He's the origin of everything. He doesn't have an origin. Anadir, he has no beginning. Nothing, he doesn't come from anything. Anadir Adir, but everything comes from him. Sarva Karana Karanam. Karanam, cause. So he's the cause of all the other causes. You know, the flower blooms in the spring when the sun shines. But why does the sun shine? And, you know, you go back, you come back to Krishna. And we are his parts. So we have some of his qualities. So by our desire, we set our life path into motion. And then, of course, since we are not, especially in this material world, we are not absolute. Whatever actions we perform, there will be a result, and it will continue and continue. And the root, where it all started from, is our desire to act in this material world. But where we started from, that is Krishna. That's where we come from. And service in Krishna consciousness is, however, best practiced under the able guidance of a spiritual master who is a bona fide representative of Krishna, who knows the nature of the student and who can guide him to act in Krishna consciousness. As such, to be well versed in Krishna consciousness, one has to act firmly and obey the representative of Krishna, and one should accept the instruction of the bona fide spiritual master as one's mission in life. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur instructs us in his famous prayers for the spiritual master as follows: Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasado, yasya prasada nagati kutopi, dhyayang stuvang tasya yasya strisandhyang vandaguru shri charanaravindam. By satisfaction of the spiritual master, the Supreme Personality of Godhead becomes satisfied. And by not satisfying the spiritual master, there is no chance of being promoted to the plane of Krishna consciousness. I should therefore meditate and pray for his mercy 3 times a day, and offer my respectful obeisances unto him, my spiritual master. Yes, so that is actually the answer to the question, how do we even understand this? How do we even get in touch with Krishna? Krishna has set up this world in such a way that both we have the opportunity to fulfill all our material desires, or at least try. But at the same time, there is a certain built-in frustration that there will always be this niggling doubt in the back. Is this really everything? Is this really perfect? And when we come to such a platform where we are actually reaching out, that we are throwing this question out in the universe: what is the meaning of life? Why am I here? Is this all there is? Then Krishna has left the Vedic scriptures, the Bhagavad-gita, and he has left the line of spiritual masters going back very far, actually, to the beginning of the creation of the universe. It goes all the way back there. So that we will have the knowledge in the scriptures, and we will have the instructions of the spiritual master. They go hand in hand, because we take a book, or we take the whole Vedic vast body of knowledge, we will not be able to make sense from it. We will not be able to determine what to do. We can spend a lifetime trying to study the Vedas, and we will not get through them. So the spiritual master will guide us to find the essential part of the Vedas, and also to find that level of application that is befitting for us in this specific situation. And the scriptures will confirm. The spiritual master doesn't just wake up in the morning and order you around. You also study. You study under the guidance of the spiritual master, so they go hand in hand. And the third thing is, of course, association with like-minded, spiritually serious people. That is very helpful. The whole process, however, depends on perfect knowledge of the soul beyond the conception of the body, not theoretically but practically, when there is no longer a chance for sense gratification manifested in fruitive activities. One who is not firmly fixed in mind is diverted by various types of fruitive acts. So this is a very perfect process. It's not just a theory. It's something we are able to apply ourselves to. We are able to gain some realizations, and we are able to actually find that fixed intelligence, that fixed desire is, I know that I am connected to Krishna in service. I have been given some service, I have been given some knowledge, and I want more. I want more service. I want to establish this platform more firmly. And yes, you can try and read this in a very destructive way. You don't care about anything, you just follow someone's order. It looks kind of blind and impersonal. That is not how it factually works. It factually works that we are able to anchor ourselves in our deepest self, to find our deepest integrity in that existence as a servant of Krishna. And then automatically, Prabhupada uses that word, other things fall into place. We don't get to that platform immediately. We start to practice meditation, we start to practice maybe controlling our senses, studying the Bhagavad-gita, and coming in the association of other devotees following such a lifestyle. So this is a gradual process, but at least we know what the process consists of. And this is also, for those of you who like to study very strictly Bhagavad-gita, this is also a verse that we can learn. We can keep it for reference and for strengthening the mind. Those who are on this path are resolute in purpose, and their aim is one. O beloved child of the Kurus, the intelligence of those who are irresolute is many-branched. So when we can find that fixed platform of Krishna consciousness, we won't have to wake up every morning in a confusion of, what do I want to do today? Who do I want to be today? Because we will have found a home in our own heart in that instruction and practice of Krishna consciousness. And that's a very valuable thing indeed. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you for watching. We aim for updates every Tuesday and Friday. Please come back. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down there. We also have some links and information for you. And there is, of course, the subscribe button. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
I'm a Hare Krishna, and I approve this message. Subscribe.
Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Juta Padakamalam